Hello, everybody. How are you today? It is your local business coach slash woo person. I don't know what I'll call myself. Anyways, I'm excited to chat with you today about the number one way to create your next quantum money leap. So, if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments. And if it's your first time watching, also let me know that so I can officially welcome you to these weekly videos. So, I'm excited to be here today. I've been coaching a lot of people recently who, and we all do this, myself included, will declare that we want to have a money leap, or really any leap. But let's just talk about money for today. Usually in our business, we want to have some sort of money leap. And then as much as we feel confident and we're like, yeah, I'm going to do this and look at me, and we have all the confidence in the world, the monkey mind goes, oh, let's see if we can punk with this person. Let's mess with their head and let's start plopping all kinds of crazy ideas into their head about how much they suck, how unintelligent they are, how everything they touch fails, and whatever other statements come in. Not to mention, we actually have a lot of conditioning that's unconscious usually. And it's things like, no matter what I do, I'm not going to win. I'm never the first one chosen. So let's just say you're running a business, and as a kid, when it was recess and everyone was picking their teams to play dodgeball or baseball or tag or whatever it was, you may not have been the first one that was picked. And so unconsciously, you create this story in your head, naturally so, that you'll never be the first choice. And so when you're doing client attraction and maybe you're submitting to be a speaker at some event or something, you're already unconsciously expecting to not be the first choice. And so, of course, then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's all kinds of examples I can give you. But what I notice is that we allow the monkey mind to run the show way more than we even realize. And so there's this dance that we do, right? We claim we want the quantum leap. We actually can create it really quickly, but then we have all of these stories come up. So what I do notice is that there's three ways that people engage their leap. And one way is super successful and creates results really quickly. The other two make a leap. The leap's not impossible, but it definitely makes it way more challenging. So the first one is to just be in avoidance, like la, 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 looking everywhere. I've set this goal and then I'm just going to ghost it, basically, and potentially even ghost my coach if I have a coach and, I'm trying to move this forward. So when we're avoiding, we definitely want to look at, okay, well, where else does this show up? Where else am I using this as a coping strategy? Because I'm afraid. I'm either afraid of success, I'm afraid of failure, I'm afraid of attack. Like, what's the fear that we have on the other side of the leap? Because once we actually give voice to that, then we can really mitigate it through mindset work, energy work, whatever the case may be. The second thing that we do, because again, we're cute, is we resist. So we push and pull with it. We're willing to look at it in the eyes, but we might disappear on it for a bit, and then we reappear, and then we fiddle around with it and move it in all kinds of different directions. We just create a lot of unnecessary tension, essentially. That's what resistance is, right? We want it, we push and pull with it, we maybe deflect, we abdicate responsibility, we don't ask questions that can move ourselves forward. So we ask questions that are why questions, which basically just keep us swirling on the hamster wheel, instead of asking questions like, how can I create more of X, or how can I stop doing Y, things like that. So the third way that we the third way we can engage with the quantum leap and on top of that be successful is to outcreate it, to get bigger than the energy, so that it's already done. We're in that energy of course I've already manifested 100K a month. Of course I've already, filled my program before I've even marketed it. Of course whatever. These are some of the ways that we can outcreate it. So we become bigger than the energy so that it's inevitable. Our frequency is so high that anything that is going to be stepping in to support it is already a vibrational match for what we want to create. This means, so I have a technique called the quantum calibration technique. It's a little too long to get into in here, but it's something that I used to create an 8-figure company and to, purchase other companies and get all weird into investments and do all kinds of like, empire building sort of stuff. But it's something I use with my clients. So when I'm working with people, I have to look for any avoidance and any resistance because I want to transmute that really quickly so that I can help them very quickly through this quantum calibration technique calibrate. So for example, I had a client last year who was used to making 10K months. That's nothing to sneeze at. Very, very wise person, very, very talented, very, very gifted, probably like you. And, but they were selling a lot of really low ticket stuff and working really hard to fill it. So they might run a workshop for $30 a person for a whole day and then sell people into something after that. So think about that. Like that's 8 hours of your time. Maybe you're getting 20 people in the room and then maybe you're making another few sales. It's not that that's anything to sneeze at. It's really inefficient. That's a really inefficient way. It's not a quantum way to lead. It's an incremental way to fill a business. So think about how many more of those and how much more that person, like how many they would have to run and how much more they'd have to double down on their marketing to get a bunch of new faces into those workshops in order to make, like, let's say a 20K month. When we're quantum leaping, we're not trying to go from 10K months to 20K months and so on. We're trying to go from 10K months to 100K months. So that being said, there's a few techniques that I use in the quantum calibration technique. And this person had been stagnating at 10K months for a really long time. Again, nothing to sneeze at, very talented, has affected a lot of people. But once we made a few energetic shifts and we had everything calibrate to her, she had her first 150K week within the first month of us working together. And then she went on to call in multi-7-figure bonuses with this one client she was working with every quarter, not to mention all the other actual income that was coming in from them hiring her to work with them. So she out-created her leap, right? It messed with her brain because her brain's going to tell her, okay, you made 10K this month. If we're going up, we're going to make 15K next month, and so on and so on. So not only did she not do it month by month, but she actually collapsed time and space and made in a week what she thought was going to take her at least a year to get to. That's how we do the leaping. So we have to look at, how do I outcreate the monkey mind? How do I outcreate this goal? How do I act even bigger? How do I vibrationally expand even bigger than this goal so that the frequency that I'm holding far surpasses the frequency of what I want to call in, so that what I want to call in is inevitable? And then how do I have everything calibrating to my intentions? Basically, how do I reside in the penthouse and have everything, rise up to the occasion so that I'm no longer accepting invitations to join people in the lobby who want to, commiserate about all the reasons why they can't have what they see us having and all the various stories, of course, that we're used to hearing over the years. So there's way more to this, but I'm just giving you a taste of what it looks like to really outcreate what you're wanting to call in so that you can have a very quick money leap. That's an example of a very quick money leap. I have another client who was stagnating at 10K months, very successful, very engaged podcast listenership, all kinds of things, created a lot of amazing things. Monetarily, it wasn't translating at the speed in which she knew it could. So when we started working together, she had her first 100K month, right? So that's a big leap. That's a 10 times leap. And then the next month she had 100 and something, right? And then within 6 months, she was buying her first multi-million-dollar home, because we circumvent any linear thinking, right? And we become bigger than that. We do things that don't make sense. That's how we confuse the brain. If the brain can't track and expect what we're going to do next, it has no reference point. And when it has no reference point, it can't slow things down because it's not trying to constantly calibrate to an old reference point. Like, I must send 10 emails in order for my program to fill. That would be a reference point. When we don't have any reference points, then of course we can fill a program with one email, as an example, because there's nothing telling us that it's always got to be this way. Just as if the brain's always telling us we have to make incremental leaps in our money, We've got to find a way to circumvent that so that it can do something totally unexpected. Like I mentioned, have a 150K week or 100K month when the brain is expecting to have either another 10K month and constantly repeat. That's the other thing with this, is that when we're out creating, we're not trying to go back. We're not living in the energy of, let's see if I can do this again. We don't want to do it again. We want to keep going up and up and up. We don't need to keep having 100K months, right? We already know how to do that. So how do we expand, out-create that again and again and again? So that comes with its own challenges as well. And I've talked a little bit about this, like how do we navigate that expansion hangover? How do we really give ourselves permission to live in the surplus or live in the overflow? There's always something, right? Because we're always growing, and there's always some new thing that we're learning to develop mastery over. But at least for now, I wanted to give you a sense of the way in which you might be dancing with your quantum leap. And again, it doesn't mean you can't leap. It is likely going to take longer when we're resisting and avoiding. But if we can become even bigger than it, if we become bigger than the reference points we have for how it should look, and we determine what frequency we're going to calibrate to, and then have everything calibrate to us, it can make things happen really, really quickly. So if you are watching this and you're like, oh my goodness, I need to be getting my hands on this, I would love to chat with you. I have a mastermind called the Penthouse, and it's basically looking at what are all the ways that we might, how are we going to stay calibrated in the penthouse, meaning just living in the highest version of us, living in our highest timeline, living in our most embodied CEO energy, so that we're not managing people, we're not managing expectations, we're not managing energy, we're not managing boundaries, we're not managing team members, we're leading, right? Very different energy, being the CEO. And then how do we calibrate all of the pillars of our company to be calibrated to that of the penthouse sort of metaphor? So this is for people that are 6 figures and higher. And if that's something that speaks to you, then let me know either in the comments or private message me, and we can chat about what you're wanting to create. I can do a very thorough and quick audit of your company to see where there might be some micro leaks that we want to plug so that we can keep more money in the money bucket. And then, of course, what pots of gold you have that maybe are ready to be amplified and optimized. And you might already be doing amazing things with them, but I have kind of a knack of being able to go, oh, wow, if we just did this one thing, imagine what else is possible. And then, of course, create your next step plan so that you're not working harder and you're not exerting any extra energy. And in fact, we're really going to look at how do we leverage your time and how do we scale your company when we're doing the Penthouse Mastermind. So again, if that's something that speaks to you, let me know in the comments or in the chat. I will connect with you to do a business audit, hear more about what you're wanting to create, see if it's a good fit for you. If it's not that, I might have something else up my sleeve. But in any event, this is for people that really just want more. They can't help it. They're always creating more. They have just an innate growth mindset. They're already leaders, and they're ready to just keep leading up and up and up. And of course, very woo, because that's what we do here. So if that speaks to you, let me know. In the meantime, also let me know in the chat how this served you. And if you feel like someone would benefit from it, go ahead and share and fill up their cup with all of this magic that we're sharing here today. So thanks for being here. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.